Hello there, GM Lurchington here, with another episode of Star Wars Showdown on Iceball Station. With me as usual are our players and their characters. We've got the Bendu as Jedi Narset Jin.
Hello, friends.
Dan as Captain Worm of Ithor.
Hey, everybody.
David as Master Zavik Silverstar.
Hey.
And, of course, our host Kyle as Zeef.
Hello there.
Gentlemen, if you're ready to begin, let's roll the Destiny and see if the Force is with us.
Oh my goodness, I don't even have my phone. I gotta go grab it.
Mediocre.
To light side from Narset to start. Hell yeah. Starting off strong with the light side. A dark side from Zavix. A light side from Worm.
Just find
You gotta wait
glory
for Kyle
on
to
Fury
come back.
Road.
Sorry. Here we go.
The technical difficulties guy on the
Seriously.
screen coming up.
Oh, and I'm in the dice tray. That was a close one.
Tracking sheet. Get that Destiny. And another light side. 4 lights in a dark. The Force is with you guys tonight for the race.
Sweet.
We begin early in the morning before the race. Warham, Zeef, Captain Thud, and Rathimith are all up at the landing platform. Here in the launching cleats, where Captain Thud's Z-95, Griff Halloran's custom fighter, and the HH-85 Starhopper belonging to the Hutt pilot, Lubba Tyrell, are all resting before the race. The mechanics have been up here at the crack of dawn, putting the final touches on their ships, getting them ready for the race after they've been here since the night before, resting since the time trials the prior day. As you look up, you see here in the early morning hours, coming down over the bay, a gleaming bronze shape approaching the landing platform. All of the mechanics and the other pilots stop with their work. The hangar personnel and the personnel at the warehouses and the control towers across the landing platform all pause and look as the graceful curved shape of a Ubrican star yacht, the Star Jewel by name, Vork's yacht, comes in low over the bay and lands here at the landing platform. The
Nice.
gondola is just coming up over by the warehouses. Spider waits there at the edge of the platform as the Gank and Nikto bounty hunters, who've been acting his guards, go and wait, and the ramp comes down. The magnificent shape of Vork, the lime green hut, appears at the head of the ramp and makes his way quite swiftly with strong movement of his virile body down the ramp. The bounty hunters nod and he gestures to them, and they fall back as he makes his way under his own power across the landing platform before the eyes of all. It takes several moments. He stops, looks at the fighters, the racers, and the crews, nods towards the Alina pilot and his mechanic down at the end, and then heads off towards Spider, waiting there at the gondola. If you don't take any move to stop him or interrupt, he's going to head off. And then, slowly, everyone else gets back to work. Their breaths released after Vork has passed. And you are now up on the landing platform, ready to prepare for the race. Warm. Captain Food is here with a rather bleary-eyed Rathimith who was up late last night greeting the returning high rollers who've come back to Iceball for the race. But Captain Food is here to lend a hand with the preparations before the race for the morning. And Zeef is tagged along as well with Stomper. But they're going to head down before the race actually begins to get in the pit and watch the race with the real crowd in Narset, as Zeef had mentioned the night before.
That's right.
But I'm going to leave the camera on you guys to get ready for the race. Do some mechanics checks. Maybe snoop around.
I do maybe a mechanics. I don't know, either maybe give a. Just trying to think what would not be too.
You can work to tune up the. You work to tune up the racer, and based on the successes you get, you might get some boost die for the first couple of sections of the race.
Okay.
Like maybe it'll factor into the handling setback situation on the on the race kind of thing.
Just try and state it like Worm's gonna try and make some enhancements.
All right, Worm's gonna try and make some enhancements to the Z95.
Absolutely, Captain Food will work with you. He'll give you a boost die. The racer's been out, sitting in the cold after the time trial, which was his first real test of its engines. And the difficulty, to really push it beyond the capabilities. You ran it as hard as you could during the time trial yesterday, and did a good showing. You weren't holding back. So to really goose it and get some more out of it, you're going to have to pass a hard mechanics check, and there's going to be 2 setbacks because he's been sitting out in the cold all night.
Food is able to give him effective help, but can Zeef offer a boost by holding the flashlight?
You could give him another blue die towards the roll. Yes, but then you won't be able to do your other thing.
Okay, then never
you're
mind.
over there holding the flashlight. That's why Food's helping. He's going to get a blue die from Food instead.
Okay.
And I'm going to spend one of the Destiny since we got a bunch at the start.
Go for it. Absolutely.
All right. 3 success, 3 threat, and a triumph.
Nice.
Okay. With the 3 threat, the ship is going to take a point of system strain.
Okay.
That it is going to begin with. With the triumph, I'm going to allow you to launch at a speed higher than you would have normally. So you can launch at speed 3 instead. That's what I'm willing to offer up for the triumph if you want to go with something else. And with the 3 successes, I will give you 2 lengths of a blue die.
How about, could I get, I don't know, a, maybe, I get, the nitrous or something, Fast and Furious kind of thing, to, just whenever I need it during the race, I get, a free upgrade or something? Is that
I'll give you a... Well, because you can always speed up by 1 for free. Yeah. I'll give you a punch it without strain that you can use 1 time.
Okay, sure.
Okay. To go up to full speed. That'll be your nitrous. If you want the nitrous, it's going to be a punch it, but it won't cost the strain.
That's fine.
You're taking a system strain now as you're pre-juicing your engine.
System. Yeah, alright. That works. I like that.
Alright. Alright, but the successes, you'll still get 2 boosts. 1 for each of the first 2 segments of the race as well. Zeef, you're not holding the flashlight. What are you getting up to? Well, Worm's up to his shoulders in the engines of the Z95.
So Zeef is, paying attention to Zeef's... So Zeef is... I just start over.
It's okay.
So Zeef is paying attention to Worm's Z95 and the work that he's doing. Meanwhile, Stomper is kind of wandering around and inspecting the other racers, the other craft that are parked nearby. He dips around, walks underneath Halloran's fighter, keeps going down, checks out the Hut Speeder as well. And he finds a little, just like a protruding, like a manifold sticking out a little bit, and he just extends his manipulator arm and just kind of like bends it until it snaps, and then waddles away very hurriedly, like, you know, casual, all right. Casual like.
So I'm gonna need him to make an average difficulty stealth check.
Gonk, gonk.
A stealth check against 2 purples to not be noticed by the mechanic or the hut pilot while he does that. He can get a free boost because he is a working droid from, the factories up here. And there are a bunch of identical-looking gonk droids.
He is. It's good blue-collar droid.
Area.
Nice and
yeah, so he gets a free boost die for that. But he does need to make a stealth roll not to be noticed while he attempts
and I'm
this.
assuming that's going to be a green, because I have no...
It's whatever his agility is.
Oh, okay. 1.
Based
his
on
agility is 1, so 1 green.
1 green against 2 purples. A green and a blue against 2 purples.
No setback or anything?
No setbacks or anything like that.
Those purples.
All right. I believe in you, little gonk.
So he does not... He wanders around, and they sort of shoo him away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair
when
enough.
he goes in for the
move. With the advantage, maybe they're a little distracted if Zeef wants to do something.
Yeah, if you want to try to do something, you can get a boost.
You're probably
a blue die. If you want to try to,
I'm not gonna push my luck. If Stomper couldn't pull it off, Zeef's not gonna be the second one. Just like moments later, hey, what's Yusa doing over here? Like,
now that Yusa's paying attention.
Yeah.
All right.
I put them on alert at that moment.
Fair enough.
All right. Fair enough. Well, after a little bit of hanging out, then Zeef, it's about time for you to head back down. The gondola has returned after Vork's descent, and you can see that the few workers who were pulling a morning shift up here are queuing up, and it's going to head off to go back down to the city. So you bid Warham good luck on the race. Rathamith debates with Food again that he should come down to the casino and watch on the big screens with him in the in the warmth. But Captain Food says he's going to remain up here and greet Warham on his triumphant return instead. And you and Rathamith join the queued up workers and head back down on the gondola. You can accompany Rathamith in his car back to the casino afterwards. Although, no, I suppose the company lease would be waiting for you. So, unfortunately, you have to decline his invitation. Right. But we can follow you back to the casino. And you can enter in. Zavik Silverstar, where do we find you the morning before the race? I imagine you're working the gathered crowd and returned high rollers alike down here on the main floor.
Yeah, definitely. I'd probably be with initially like Kovar, since this was like a big operation with him, and it would be like something that I was running, and he represents the head of the. It seems like we have all the heads over there, so I'd probably be the private seating area.
All right, excellent. Well, I'll bring you in there. Zeef, you come in. You see that Narset is already down at the bar. Birdie is here, as well as Sick Ranchez and Quintera. Although I don't think I spawned her in the wrong spot.
Forget, everyone knows we're Jedi, right?
Not everyone.
The expats do, but the Imperial Remnant didn't, and the Hutt Cartel don't as well. As you head across the main floor towards the bar, where Narset and the others are, you see that Zavix is up above in the private seating area. Vork, instead of returning to the city and his own palace, has come to Fishtown itself. and is in the expat club, up at the private seating. His bodyguards hover in the background.
Has that ever happened before?
Not while you've been, certainly.
Sure.
You would have to ask around. Birdie would probably be able to tell you if it had before. Spider is standing at the entrance to the private seating area, away from the action. And you see that Zavik, Silverstar, Kolvar, and Agent Vonko of the Imperial Remnant Security Bureau are all up before Vork. And we join Zavik's there now. Kolvar has welcomed Vork graciously to the expat club, Zavix. It's been 10 years since the hut has deemed to come down to Fishtown and visit the operation, which is the only other time during Kolvar's tenure as part of the expat club that he's done so. Vork is very pleased that you've managed to time this amusement to his return. He understands logistics and that, these sort of operations are large, ones, but it pleases him that he can return to sort of this after all of his business that he's been dealing with. He's unsure as to why the Imperials are here, but he says the Hut clans have made business with whichever power structures have been leading the rest of the galaxy whenever they've needed to. They did dealings with the Empire, and they continue to do whatever deals they need to secure the safety of Hut space. Exactly, and the prosperity of the cartels and those that they protect. He says
they're in the casino, right? We're not at
right.
Birdie.
No, we're at the casino.
No, Birdie's here.
Yeah, Birdie is here. He says, and those who merely fall under our protection. He says to Kolvar. And after that opening exchange, evening, he turns and he says, I see you have a new member. I do keep myself abreast of what you do here, Kolvar. My man Spider told me that this newcomer has been instrumental in your business. He nods to you, Zavik. And then sort of turns to look at the hollow screens that have been put up with the race data and says, I believe we'll be having much fun. Any business that we intend to do, we'll go after them. Now come, Kolvar. We'll discuss whether your man can beat mine. And he'll allow you to introduce yourself, sort of, as Alex, but he lays it out there that he's not going to talk business now, of course. He wants to make some bets with Kolvar before the race.
I don't think there's really any much need. I think he already knows who I am. I feel I'm getting the feeling that maybe I don't need to introduce myself to him.
Okay.
Or do you think it's something that I need to go throughout the whole thing?
You have the opportunity to now to, formally introduce yourself to this hut. This is, definitely your opportunity.
Whatever the custom would be for that one, I definitely introduce myself to the hut then. Not anything real except for he'd know that I'm a Pantoran maybe, and that I am looking to make us all a lot of money, that kind of stuff. Whatever would, fly for that one. Not like trying to coerce him or anything like that.
Introduce yourself as like an entrepreneur, because you still are. Even
like Silver, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's hear it, man.
You're an interested businessman.
Yeah. Concerned citizen.
Greetings, Vork. I'm greetings, Vork. Greetings, Vork. I'm a businessman as well, trying to make a good profit. Would love to talk business when you're ready. Before I turn away to either Spider or Vanko, I tap Culver on the side of the arm and say, try to get in a good bet for us.
He says, I have every faith that our Captain Worm will be winning, no matter what the time trials had to say yesterday. Mr. Silverstar, provided that this does happen, the X-Pac Club will be in a very stable position at the end of the day. And a lot of it, and he reaches up and he clasps you firmly by your upper arm. He says, well, because of the work you've done these past few days. And I won't forget it. Don't worry. And then he turns and walks over to Vork so that they can lay in the heavy bets, while everyone down in the pit is laying in, their own bets and wagers. And there are hollow boards with time trial results from the day before posted over along one wall. And on the other wall, there are huge 5-meter tall posters, hollow portraits of each of the racers and their ships on the other side. And down below, there's a mixture of all of the denizens of Fishtown, as well as some who've come down from the city to the casino, hearing that Vork would be here below, as well as returned wealthy core worlders who are staying over by the turbo lifts up to their suites and not mingling down in the pit. There are a few small knots of dark uniformed Imperial remnant troopers who are also here. And Kolvar moves away, and you see Vanko and Spider here each. And if you want to bet against for Warham, with either of them,
I think this would be a good one.
They're basically here, so
I think these
Spider's
are two
very pleased.
Yeah, I mean, we worked well together. We haven't had any issues. I think maybe Vanavanka would probably have a little bit of an issue still because we've not been, leaving on the best foot.
You're gonna have to make some die rolls if you want to lay in some bets with her. But Spider is very happy. He sees it's all going. Vork is pleased. Based on the time trial results, it looks like the cartel's racer is going to win, which is going to make the workers happy as well, and Vork, who's probably going to beat Kolvar in their own wager on the side. And as you approach, he goes, Mr. Silverstar, I'm so pleased that your hard work has come to such fruition. Yes. I'm so glad that Vork returns to such calm water here on Iceball. Well, I understand you're now a member of the Expat Club. So perhaps you'd like to make a little wager, since you can't be betting against now.
Yes, it's very. Yes, I'm quite pleased that I'm now a full-fledged member of the Expat Club. And yes, you're right. I would like to make a side bet on that. I don't seem like I have to make any checks to get him to bet, but I'd love to make a roll for it. If I need.
If you want him to,
what is he willing?
Let's say he's willing. He is willing because of his guy is on the odds. It looks like he's a sure thing to win. Well, he also knows you set up the race and all of that. You know what I mean? So he's willing to basically go even in with you. Whatever you're going to put in with credits, he'll put in equally, and whoever wins comes away with it, basically. But if you want to say, well, your guy had so much more, etc., you can make a check to have him pay out better than that, basically.
Yeah.
It looks like your guy's definitely going to win based on the time trial, so I'm going to put in so much, but you put in twice as much, or whatever. You're going to need to make a check to do that.
Would that be a charm check to check if I can increase that? Or is
I think it would be, because you've got good relations with
Or negotiation.
Negotiation, probably, because, this is a business type thing. Absolutely. Let me pull up the Hut Major Domo. This is going to be very difficult.
While he's pulling that up,
actually
just
what he's built
state
for.
it for the editing.
Yeah, I will. Okay. Well, Spider, that sounds like a great. Wait, what was he saying? He said he was just willing to make a bet.
He says, yes, well, I'd certainly like to make a wager with you. However many credits you put on your man, I'll certainly match that Tyrell will beat him.
Well, I have a lot of credits to match, but why don't we do something small? Maybe something like 9,000 credits?
So he'll match that 9,000. I think he goes, certainly. I'd love to make 9,000 credits. And he fishes around. So he'll match you 9,000 for 9,000 without a check because he's that confident. But if you wanted him to put in more than that,
let's see.
of the odds,
I like to. Let me roll this. What's the difficulty on it?
The difficult. Well, you're gonna have to ask him first.
Just like episode 1.
You know what I mean? Like,
well, Spider, if you were so quickly, Spider, if you were so quick to offer this, seems like you're willing to bet something more.
He goes, well, if you look at the time trial, it certainly looks like there's no way Halloran or your own captain can beat Tyrell. It seems that the fight for second place is the only one of any interest. And, well, I don't bet on second place.
And neither do I. I guess you could make it a little bit better if, let's say you put a starship into it.
Certainly not.
The fuck would you get a starship?
He goes, perhaps set your sights a little bit lower, Mr. Silver Star. There's no check to even try to make that. But
all right, and how about a droid?
More, a droid? Well, let me see. I don't own any personally. Vork himself has some. We have a torture droid and several power units over at Vork Palace. You know the Hut Cartel. We prefer our servants of the more biological variety. If you're looking to acquire
I don't think I'm going to get that from him.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see.
Speak to your man, Kolvar.
Okay, all right.
So you can just try to have him double down before the race even starts. Basically, that's what.
Okay, let's double down for it then. That would be good for him.
Yeah, he goes. So how about put some more money on
2,000, bitch.
Give him that. You know what I mean?
Fine, if it's worth it to you, then add a little more credits to spice up your wager.
All right. So the difficulty of the negotiation check is going to be 2 reds and a purple. And he also has so his talent, Nobody's Fool, only works when charm, coercion, and deception checks are made, not negotiation. So it's going to be 2 reds and a purple.
Spider's everybody's free.
I believe in you, Warren.
You dropped a spider baby on me.
4 successes, 2 threat, 1 despair.
1 despair. Okay, so he's going to go for it.
Successes, though.
I mean, this was just a bet, though. How is he going to despair a bet?
I'm gonna say, I want your soul.
Something else happen. Don't worry about it. The successes
I want your arm.
Are going to be. It's going to be what it is. The 2 threat are going to come down to a setback on the next roll that you make later on in the session. You're going to have a floating setback for later on. From the 2 threats. He goes, yes, sir. I'll put some more money on it. He goes, how about another 4,000 credits from your 4 successes? So he's willing to match your 9,000 credits with 13 of his own. That Lubba Tyrell will beat Warren for first place in the race.
Okay.
He goes, of course, if Halloran wins, it's simply a walk. We'll take our bets back. And with your despair and no advantage, you can't really move him on that. Despairingly, Agent Vonko slithers up behind you after
Word choice.
you and Spider finish your
conversation.
Yeah, your bet. She goes, Mr. Silverstone, based on the Tron trials, I would think that you'd be making a wager with me to see if your captain or Halloran took second place. You know something that I don't about the race?
I'm going to maintain my cool here without her trying to intimidate me or anything, but I definitely want to...
Well, she's making an inquiress roll into you, so you're going to make a check here to sort of, defer.
Deflect.
So,
Yeah.
you're gonna use cool to sort of deflect. Excellent. Let me pull up my ISB stat line to give you the difficulty there. And this is your despairs that she's coming in with her own inquiry for you. It's going to be another 2 reds and a purple. And you're going to have a setback on it from...
Violent inquiry.
What was that setback you said?
The setback from your 2 threats earlier. So just go ahead and roll just the setback die.
That's black, right?
With
Yes.
the O's.
No,
One S. It's an S. So you have 3 failures. So you try to play your cool, but whatever you're going to say is not going to work. So what's Zavik say when she comes up? She's like, so do you know something I don't, since you're over here betting that your man's going to win first place, when clearly it was between Halloran and that alien you've got flying for you.
I will low-key stare blankly and maybe look around and say, maybe. Maybe. Yes. I don't know.
I mean, like, you're an alien too, so it's like, fuck her.
She's going to be keeping an eye on you during your proceedings, because you do nothing. You've got nothing for her in front of this. Okay, she goes, well, in that case, she goes, in that case, I suppose I'll have to go down and make sure that the lieutenant commander isn't throwing his credits away. And she heads away from you down to the floor below so that she can warn the Imperials that things aren't on the up and up here. Because she knows that you're betting clearly against what the posted odds are. So she's going to go down and talk to the Imperial whales because
I'm gonna follow her.
Follow her and try to stop her.
And try
and mind trick her. Try and mind trick her.
If you want to spend a destiny point, you can make another check to try to stop her. Go right ahead.
I'll take a destiny point on that way to try to stop her real quick.
What kind of a check are you going to make this time instead of a cool check of what are you going to say with your charm or your deception to try to sweet talk or lie to her? No, that wasn't blah, 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 and talk her out of it, so that she doesn't go down and warn the Imperial Lieutenant Commander with the deep pockets, who lost thousands of credits the other night and was like, oh man, that's...
I have an idea.
Like an Indiana Jones moment.
Don't make a check, but what I would say would be...
You have to make a check.
I will,
you have to make a check to stop her. Sure, of course. Yeah. Tell me when you stay first.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we'll make the check.
All right. So I'd stop her and tell her that... I think I just had it in my head. Say, actually, Ivanka? Yeah.
Ivana Vanko.
Just call her the wrong name.
Actually, Ivana Vanko, I do have something to share, but I'm a businessman, and I'm not giving stuff away for free. How about you do a wager with me? I'm looking for a droid. If you're willing to bet this, I'll give you some information that might help you.
That's sort of a weird ask to even make. But you come at her and you're like, wait, you haven't seen her with any droids in particular, but you just come at her sideways with like, hold on. Yes, okay, fine, I have info, but I want to bet for a droid. So go ahead and make a check to see if she's even going to consider doing that. Which I suppose is a negotiation.
Yes.
Since you're just pulling her up and being like, wait, hold on. Stop.
This droid.
I'm gonna
trying to make a
while
deal,
you're setting up
right?
the difficulty. Don't roll it till I get back.
All right.
The difficulty is going to be 2 reds and a purple. But I'll say that again when you're not taking that hit. And I'm going to take one too. He's away now anyway. You're trying to get that seeker droid off her, right?
Yep.
Because that's the kind she'll have.
Yep.
Be like a fucking droid, fine, and then she'll have to find a droid to give you, and that'll be what she has. Okay. I literally, David, I literally wrote like a 2-episode story arc of the party going to a space station and shopping. And
oh, really?
It was gonna be first all you meatbags go shopping, and then all the droids go shopping separately in season 2. And I already wrote in you getting this droid.
Should I wait often? I'd be okay.
You're gonna get Narset from Kolvar. Once this
all
goes off, if this goes off successfully, you're a fully vested member, and then you go, so hey, that droid I was talking about, can I buy it? And be like, buy it, you're a member now, you can have it, it's fine. He was only gonna not sell it to you while you weren't a member. But once this all goes off, that'll be your rewards. That's what you wanted. You're gonna get M4 at the end of this, and you don't need to do a bet for it.
If you picked up a second droid, one of them could go evil.
But we can totally, like, I wrote in, like, 1 droid per season kind of thing with a progression, and I know what you guys want if you've communicated to me, and I've tried to write in progress towards the things that you guys, not so much in season 1, but that's what season 2 is literally all about, me going, what are the boxes of the things that they told me they wanted to do and that I didn't check? And I put all those boxes on a spreadsheet, and I found planets where we could do as many of those boxes on each planet. And I wrote a whole season of checking off those boxes for season 2 while also pushing the meta plot forward at the same time. Like, I got all that stuff worked in, but I plan for you to come out here with N4.
We'll scratch that last part then.
Yeah. I'm going to hit this, and we're going to redo that of you stopping her and saying something else. That's fine. I would
start with saying that you're trying to stop her
first, and then if you go, I'm going to stop her, I'm going to use this kind of check, and then we did the roll. Because then if you fail, you can say something that doesn't succeed versus I say something brilliant. Well, you fucking failed anyway, kind of thing.
Right after Joe said, Ivanka leaves, that's where I'm making a cut, and everything happening now is going to be gone up until you say, I want to stop her.
I haven't said I want to stop her yet.
No, you haven't stopped her yet.
Not in a sense, because you said it and then you went on to talk about the droid, and if you're going to change that, you should just start from there. And
then we'll give back the destiny point on the stopping her thing, and I'll just not.
You're not going to stop her?
Yeah, we'll just not stop her. My goal was to get that. Once I found out that the droid wasn't on the hut side, I figure to talk to them since they have those.
No, the seeker droid's written in, but that's a season 2 thing.
Cool.
Make one thing to like cap it. Be like Zavix frowns as she walks away or something like that.
Okay. Yeah. I'm good. As she walks away, Zavik frowns, disappointed in himself, but he's okay now because he's going to make a lot of money.
All right, so you've got that bet going. The camera follows Agent Vonko down the stairs from the private seating. She heads over towards the wagers counter, where she heads over to talk to some of the hired ranked Imperial Navy officers who'd come to watch the race. However, we stay at the large main bar down here on the main floor, which is packed now with denizens of Fishtown, as visiting high rollers from the Corps watch from the slightly raised area around this pit. Zeef has now joined Narset, Kuntera here at the main bar. Just off to the side, Birdie is conversing with Sick Ranche. And we all come in now to... You guys have been here just for a moment as you've come in, Zeef, and that scene was happening up above. Stomper has slowly waddled his way just below waist height through the crowd with difficulty up to the bar with you as well, with some pain gonks, and joins you and Narset and Kuntera here as well. It is packed. The crowd is loud down here, but you can just hear each other over the roar of the party and the revelers waiting to begin.
Zeef takes a sip of the ruby blues that he ordered moments ago and then sets it down on top of Stomper, which he does sometimes, and looks down at and he looks down and points at the staff that Narset has, like kind of like on her back. Or where is, like, you have your staff with you, right?
Yeah, it's just leaned up against the bar at the moment.
Okay. So Zeef takes a sip of his ruby blues and sets it down on top of Stomper, and then gestures to Narset's staff, which is leaning against the bar, and says, "That's a pretty sweet weapon. Is that one of your?" And then he looks around and lowers his voice. Jedi weapons. Like, Misa never seen anything like that before.
Narset slightly chuckles and says, "No, I pulled it out of the bottom of the ocean from a volcanic vent."
Bomb bad. Misa never done anything that cool. Used to lead a crazy life.
Yeah, it was during learning the cultural history of the Cellcat.
Kintera,
that water is pretty terrifying. I don't know how you water dwellers make a living down there.
Now it's Zeef's turn to chuckle, and he says, "Swimming ain't so bad. You used to get used to it."
Is it morning? Is it like a Saturday morning?
Yeah, basically. It's just narratively, it's however many scenes we have before the race.
He's drinking
begins,
alcohol, so I was just
I'm at the race. It's like going to the Emerald Downs on a Saturday at 10 a.m.
I was just getting to that, actually.
So I was gonna then ask to make either a vigilance check or a perception check to sort of see like what the overall feel of the crowd was, because I didn't know if there were like, propaganda posters up on the wall.
Go ahead, yes. Please make a perception check with your force die on top of it. You can add your force die into it. The difficulty, because of how packed it is in here, it's going to be 3 purples. You haven't been partaken in the day drinking yet, so there are no setbacks to this. It's just going to be a 3 purple perception check with the force die.
Oh wait, sorry, I didn't use my force die.
Go ahead and add your force die. You have succeeded already.
Oh well,
but you might get some more success if you
do it live.
All right, we'll do it live. Well, you have 2 success and 2 threat. So after your long journey up and down the mountain, being in this packed, crowded space, it's giving you a bit of a headache, and you're going to take 2 strain. You did recover all of your strain after your good rest last night, but you take 2 strain from it. But as you look around, the crowd is extremely jovial. There is ample day drinking already going on the morning of the race. Anyone who's not directly involved with the race activities itself, or sort of working the crowd on behalf of the expat club, like the club members themselves, are reining it in fairly well. The weather outside is
it like a good day frightful. On the frozen turd, or is
yes, it is. No, it's on this. So on this side of the island, the weather is always fairly nice. Yes.
Okay.
There is always weather sort of on the wind-beaten side of the island where the glacial field is, but this side of the island is protected. It's the lee side of the island where this bay is, and the takeoff will be beautiful. And the wall now, as the last few moments before the race begin, of the expat club main building here begin to open to reveal the outside. The beautiful panel wall begin to separate between the massive supporting beam and retract back so that everyone can see out. The temperature does drop slightly. There are force fields in place to hold in the climate control, but they don't work perfectly. And it does get slightly cooler, but the noise of the crowd increases even more. you see small knots of the Imperial troopers who have been here on Iceball for many weeks, and they all appear in pretty good sorts around there on the floor. Even though their man doesn't seem to have a chance of winning, it looks like there's going to be a good race for second place.
Ironic.
So they're actually happily betting on lines, because you can bet. There are odds placed for all the different placements, and there are plenty of bets being made for Lubba Tyrell to take first place and Griff Halloran to take second place over Warm Vythor. A lot of bets along that line are being placed, which might not come in if Warm Vythor were to win, for example, and that would be terrific for the expat casino, and the house, certainly. There are a few Imperial troopers who seem to be discontent. There's a small knot of 3 troopers over by the railing, sitting at a table. They've got a lot of drinks, empty vessels there in the center of the table, and they're looking around at the crowd and communing with each other, but not mingling with the rest of the festivity. Quintera is the lone member of the expat club who has not kept a lid on it to work the whales, as it were. Now that she's back from her expedition, was poring over her notes yesterday, she's decided to let her hair down, and she has already begun the day drinking. So as you're looking around, she leans against you to reach past you and point at Zeef and go, "You don't know the half of it. She walked to the bottom of the ocean, then she walked to the top of the volcano. All on her own 2 legs. We went inside the mountain, and I saw the biggest Ravnak you've ever seen in your life in there, and she got me out safe by walking through the wall. It's true." And then she leans back and returns to her 3rd drink of the morning.
On that note,
Zeef chuckles and reaches and clinks glasses with Quintera.
Narset then looks over.
Past Narset.
Narset then looks over to Zeef. I know I've been gone for a while, but is there any particular reason why Master Silverstar has such a particular liking to this droid?
Zeef thinks about it for a moment, and then thinks about, everything he knows about the 2 of you and how different you have seemed to be in his experience. And from that, he thinks, maybe he doesn't know anything about Jedi in the first place, because neither of you are anything like what he thought a Jedi would be. So Zeef looks at Narset and just says, "Misa not knowing the first thing about what makes a Jedi tick. You saw all crazy to Misa. Walking down a mountain, walking through the wall, setting up a race, used to doing all kinds of things. Misa not get it."
Yes, originally Master Silverstar was hoping that this race would somehow get rid of the Imperials, knowing that their prize racer might lose. Hopefully that'll get some of them to leave.
Misa heard the stories, all the old stories about Jedi always trying to help people. Maybe Misa gonna see it in person one of these days.
Narset then notices a drink that she had previously ordered show up, then sort of like brings it over to Zeef, saying, "Cheers, to the building you lost, and blessings to Worm on this race."
Zeef meets the glass, and although he is smiling and in a jovial mood, his mind does flash for a moment to the burnt remains of his detective agency, gathering snow just uptown, and it's a sobering moment for him.
And I'm gonna pop in here as the GM and say that you think about that, and then you also think about the fact that once this race is done, with his ship unlocked, Worm's going to be gone, probably by tomorrow. So, no house, no Worm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Zeef, one more note before we begin, did you bet on the race?
Zeef did not bet with anyone upstairs, if you know what I mean. Zeef is gonna make a bet with
down
one
here in the pit?
low-ranked, unnamed, like some random Imperial that's there, for Warm to beat Halloran.
Okay,
and he's also gonna beat.
Warm to beat
He's also
Halloran.
gonna bet on a random local that's there that Warm will beat the cartel.
Okay,
but he's not going for deep pockets or like a general or anything.
No, that's fine. I just want to mark it down.
Absolutely. And I want to narrate it too. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Zeef goes out into the crowd. There are plenty of Imperials here, and the race was tight between Warham and Halloran for second place. So for one of them to beat the other, they'll easily match whatever credits you want to put down. Like, heads up for Warham to beat Halloran.
Let me look at the tracking sheet. What's my balance right now? What can I afford to bet and not be?
I'll have to look.
I'm looking right now.
Okay.
13, 15.
Okay, cool. Then I will. Misa gonna bet 500 credits on Warham to beat Griff specifically, and that's a bet that I will make with a Imperial rank and file member. And then 500 credits on 500 credits. And then I'm also going to make a 500 credit bet to Warm to beat Tyrell, and I'm going to make that with one of the cartel rank and file that's here.
One of those, they'll go double or nothing right off the bat. So you find a weak way he's got 1,000 credits to your 500.
Nice.
No way. He's in his cups.
Okie day. You got yourself
drunk
a bet.
as fuck and confident.
All right.
He's thinking he's going to take me for a real sleemo. I'll show him.
Yeah. All right. So with those wagers made, Narset, you see Birdie wave to you with one of her arms from the other side of Sick Ranchez, who is saying that he's glad to see her up here, and the place full. He goes, even with these bootlickers here. And we're ready to begin the race, I believe. So we return up to Warham.
What I say, or is she too far away?
You would have to speak loudly enough that the other people around you would, but you can respond to her. You know what I mean? There's like a crowd. There's a couple of people. Cantera and Sick Ranchez are between you and her. But as long as don't have any secret words for her, you can, shout a greeting.
Just yell across the room, I found a volcano stick!
Well, I was gonna
she
say,
goes, welcome back!
I was gonna say, Narset shouts across the room, your beef jerky helped me fight some lizard things.
She goes, that's fantastic! Tell me about it tomorrow! In the afternoon! And she goes back to talking to Ranchez.
Big mom energy. It's great.
Yeah. Warham.
Yep.
You already made your check earlier. You and Food have been working, and now he has acted as your ground crewman, getting you seated and sealed into the...
Sure,
that, of course.
So one of the last things that Worm is going to do is he's going to do the stim application.
Oh, you're going to juice yourself before the race.
A little bit. Yep.
Okay. Are you going to do that in the cockpit, we'll say? We're going to say you're going to do that in the cockpit, okay?
Nice.
I don't think Food would approve, necessarily. So as you've been working, Captain Food has been telling you...
He's approved.
He asked you about Ithor, and he was very interested in your history when you were working on the Z95 the previous couple of times. During this morning, in the energy before the race, he's been telling you a bit of his background. He comes from a planet called Adamar, which had, within his own lifetime, only just sort of developed the equivalent of starfighter technology and had joined the galactic community during the Civil War, only a couple of decades before. But he himself had been one of those starfighter pilots before his own injury, and there had been a sort of a Cold War on his planet. An open military conflict hadn't broken out, but there was a culture of dueling. He's extremely invested in the race because he himself used to be a starfighter duelist. He looks at the Z-95 as you finish working on it just before he seals you into the cockpit and runs his hands up and down the lines of the fuselage and says, "This is more advanced than anything that my people created, and I understand this design is centuries old, tried and true." He looks over at Halloran's cobbled together, sleek dagger of a racer, and then looks over his shoulder at the bronze curved and winged monstrosity that the Hutt cartel is fielding. And he pats the Z gently, and he goes, "I'll see you here. Just a few moments from now, Captain. And long before either of these two get back." And he nods.
Worm gives him a salute and then presses
seals
the
you into the cockpit.
to press to lower the cockpit down over his head.
Yep. He walks away back behind the glass line, behind where the racers are going to take off from. Go ahead and make your check for the stim application now. To juice your agility, I assume, before the race.
Performance enhancement.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, like the Hutt guy's not juicing
all
too.
Herbal.
Yeah,
that's the Icorian
right.
aesthetic.
You think I'm not making a similar adjustment to the stats of the Hutt cartel pilot? Because this is something I hadn't thought of myself.
Well, does he have the medicine skill to do it?
That's what the
Griff Halloran does not
for,
juice.
Sir.
He goes around back and just chokes himself a little bit with a belt. And then it's like, oh, exactly. I'm in the mode. I'm in the mode now. Actually, it's not a belt. He wears a brand new flight suit and he tears the arms off and chokes himself with the arms for a minute. That's why he never has sleeves. That's his ritual. He rips sleeves off of a fresh suit every time.
Then he headbutts his helmet right on the skull a few times.
Oh, man.
Great. You succeed, Worm. You got that juice in you.
Up one.
All right.
Focus.
Well, all of the racers are in their cockpits. All of their fighters have been locked into racing clamps that suspend their fighters so that they can throttle up and take off directly from the edge of the landing platform. The multicolored launch timer is lit in amber at the top, and we all make initiative checks to see who is fastest on the stick as clock rolls down.
I say, how do we do that?
We're rolling initiative. That's all. I'm just flavoring it.
Is it actually all of us?
Tyrell.
But I mean,
no, it's just me and Warren.
Okay.
Oh, gotcha. I was like, I don't remember what initiative is.
No, it's okay. All right. Worm and Tyrell are neck and neck. Yeah. But I'll let you go first, Worm. Initiative is 2 and 1 for Halloran. We made a whole sheet to track all this shit because there's so much to track. All right, we got the initiative. So Warren is first off the mark as the clamps open.
We go.
Throttling forward across the bay. Everyone down in the casino has been holding their breath. Magnifiers built into the glass that has been revealed in the walls is showing a close, expanded view of the fighters in the cleats as they launch. Basically, what we're doing is we're making piloting checks as we go through each length of the course with a difficulty set by the speed of the fighter. And we'll be generating the points as everybody goes through. So for the takeoff and the straightaway, the difficulty has no modifier warm beyond your handling and the boost that you get. You are launching at speed 2, but you can always speed up, I suppose, after that, though, if you want to make the check first. We should put the math for the difficulty right on there, though. Because it's half your silhouette and your speed. So if you're launching at speed 2, it'll be 2 reds for your difficulty. Are you muted, Dan?
Really?
You were, yeah. You can hear. I can hear
Yep.
you now.
Yeah. All right. So I got the boost from the handling, and then another 2 from shortcut.
All right.
And there's no setback, right? And 2
right,
reds.
and you also get a boost from your mechanics check earlier.
Oh, true. Yep.
Yes. So don't forget that as well. And I'm going to roll, I'm going to narrate what they do each round as well, because they've got different AI packages, sort of,
Interesting.
for each pilot.
All right.
I would hope so. It gives some variety somehow.
So 5 success and 5 advantages. So Warham takes off like a shot out of the cleats as soon as they open. The gold and silver Z95 arcing out across the bay, nailing the ring there suspended at the middle of the bay. All across the ice, the skimmers of both fishing fleets from Fishtown and the city are all out across the ice, and their crews are looking up and watching as the fighters take off. Gorm, you have 5 advantages, so you can get 3 place value.
I'll get the downgrade for 3, and then the boost for the 2, and that gives me a +3 place value also.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also going to use my maneuver to use that. To punch it with the.
Okay. You're going to hit the nitrous and speed up all the way
early.
here.
All before.
Straight away.
And
these are the easiest checks of the course, so now is the time to do it.
Yeah. So
all right.
Punch it right out and take me up to speed 5.
All right, so you have a base of 5 place value plus 3 more from your advantages, so you get 8 place value for the first round. You are racer number 2, however, not racer number 1. And we need to remember that. All right. So awesome. So Warham nails the ring, and then the Z95's engines flare even brighter, and it begins to push ahead even further. Lubba Tyrell is out of the cleats just a fraction of a second behind Warren. He is not going to speed up yet, so he does not have any different difficulty than Warren has. He does not have Warham's extra boosts from shortcut, however, and ship does not handle as well, so he only has 1 boost on the roll. And I need to type that correctly. And Lubba Tyrell, however, also succeeds in nailing the first ring. He's going to punch it as well, but his ship is going to take strain. For doing so, he increases to speed 5 as well, but his ship is going to take some system strain to do so. So he's at speed 5. He gets 7 place value, and he'll have 1 boost next round. From what he... Dan, were there extra boosts for extra successes, or was it extra setbacks for extra failures?
It was extra setback for extra failure was how we did it.
Okay, excellent. Halloran is the last slowest on the stick. Perhaps because he's the only one who's not juiced at the moment.
Headbutted too hard.
The Black Ace.
It's a little short breath.
Launches out of the cleats across the ice. Halloran, as the other 2 ships rocket in front of him, loses his line on the ring and has to correct, falling back slightly and not making that perfect pass. He is just a hand's breadth behind the other fighter. He is going to only speed up by 1 point after that. He doesn't get any additional setbacks from not succeeding, but his speed up is countered by failing, so he stays at speed 3. He is going to use his 5 advantage, however, to get the same suite of boosts. Oh, Dan, you're in the field I'm trying to edit right now. So he stays at speed 3 because he stays at speed 2. He gets plus 3 place value on top of that, though, for 5 points.
1 second.
And he gets a boost, but only 1 boost from it, and a downgrade. Okay. After the 3 racers bark across the bay, they pull up, cresting out of sight of the direct eye line of any of the watchers. However, the hollow screens take up the view. Small cameras floating on repulsor lift show the 3 craft making tight turns just above the tribal Salvax village before heading up the slope that Narset climbed just the past few days. The difficulty for the climb and turn section of the race will be 1 setback, 2 setback for the first lap. So it'll be 2 setbacks to your piloting check, Dan, as you head into the second wave. The difficulty at speed 5 is going to be 2 reds and 3 purple, with 2 setbacks that you might be able to remove with your skilled jockey.
So I get a boost from my handling, a boost from 2 boosts from shortcut, a boost from last round, and a boost from my mechanics.
All
correct.
Boosts.
And you get a downgrade from your advantages last round. So it becomes a red and 4 purples with no setbacks because you have 2 ranks of skilled jockey and however many boosts you just said.
All right, there we
to
go.
Do the turn. You succeed on the turn, Daniel. Yes,
Yep.
As Warham pulls the Z into a tight turn above the Salvax village, and then nails the ring before cutting up the glacial field. Let me roll to see how Tyrell and Halloran do.
Actually, before that, I'm also going to, since I haven't used the second maneuver, I'm going to make a cool check as well for that.
Go
to
for
do the Corellian send-off as I do the turn.
Sure. What does that do, Daniel?
If I succeed, then the other 2 racers suffer a collision with each other.
Oh, damn,
okay.
nice.
So as you pull the turn and you do your flip, you're going to try to cause these 2 craft to collide with each other before they then also try to do the turn. So yeah, go for it, because then we have to roll the collision for them.
All right, so
I have to see what a minor collision does.
pacifist pilot flying super aggressively, of course.
He's not attacking me.
Are you on slide 3 so we can show where
they
they're
crash into each other. That's not on. That's on them. That's not on
We
me.
can do that, yeah. They just crossed the bay, Dan, and now they're going to head up past the village. They are where the green arrow that I just turned red is where they at now.
Okay.
What are you? Oh, for
on slide 3 to show. Okay, I now. So you succeeded.
Oh no, I haven't rolled yet.
You haven't rolled. So go ahead and roll that cool check.
Yeah, no, sorry.
Corellian send them off, and then I need to figure out how to do that. Like, how does a ship collision work? I gotta look that up real quick.
Big bada boom.
Yeah, basically.
Cool. Okay. All right. Here we go.
You succeeded?
Nice.
Yep.
So you flip up and they collide.
So they both take a crit.
They take a... Okay, so it's
they take a crit, which is lowered by their defense as 10 for each of their defense points.
Ah, okay, cool. They are both behind you. So it would be their forward defense. Loba Tyrell does have a point of defense. So I'm rolling Halloran's crit. And then I will narrate it.
Right out of the gate. Just...
Ooh, oh, nah. Not great. He doesn't have any shields to begin with.
And a component hit.
Since it wasn't an attack, I think you should probably be able to decide for that. Usually it would be my choice, but...
I need to find the list first. Small vehicle components.
It's like cockpit, astromech, engine, shield.
You can lower his speed by 1.
Okay.
With the okay. So Warham flips his Z95 up on its side, making the turn. The other two craft. Halloran attempts to accelerate into the gap Warham has left, scraping against Loba Tyrell's Starhopper. The Starhopper slows slightly as this happens. All right, I'm going to reduce his speed to 4 for his roll, and I'm now going to roll Tyrell and Halloran making the turn. The difficulty for Tyrell is 2 reds and 2 purples. With 2 setbacks, he can remove 1 of them. He gets 1 boost from his handling and 1 boost from last round. And he fails. 2 failures means he's going to get 2 setbacks on the next roll. He has 1 advantage, which he's going to use to get a... cover a system strain, which he actually does need to do. Alright. So he's going to recover 1 system strain.
Crash into a wall.
With that, he is going to get 2 setbacks on the next round. He drops his speed, but then he uses maneuver to speed back up again, so he stays at speed 4. Warm, we didn't put your points in. You are still at speed 5.
Speed 5. I had a...
mess of advantages, didn't you?
Just 2, so it was a boost.
Okay, and a place value point. That's what I was concerning myself with. So 6 points there. Okay. He's at speed 4. He doesn't get a place value, so he gets 4 points in the second round. All right, and Halloran attempts the turn. It's red. Okay, because he's only going speed 2, isn't he? Yeah. So. All right. Halloran going slowly. Still manages to make the turn after recovering from his scrape. Tyrell, however, takes the turn wide, arcing out across the Salvek village, and bobbles as he enters the canyons ahead. Halloran speeds up to speed 3, but drops back down because he didn't succeed. He gets no additional setbacks out of it, however. So he stays at speed 2 and gets 3 points. Alright, and no, and 1 boost.
You want to round. That's probably like after every 2 rounds. You want to switch back.
Yeah, we can cut away to that. Yeah. So the racers, have disappeared around the curve. On the hollow screens, you've seen Worm's Z95 flip agilely up on its side above the Salvex village, cutting a quick, tight turn and then rocketing up the glacial slopes that Narset climbed just the days before. In his wake, Halloran attempts to accelerate to fill the gap, but collides, scraping across one of the wide wings of the Starhopper, piloted by Lubba Tyrell. Halloran corrects quickly and pursues Warham up the slope. Tyrell is slower to correct at his higher speed, arcing out across the village before regaining. He is still slightly ahead of Halloran after he regains the course, but Warham is clearly in the lead, heading up the icy slopes that Narset climbed just the day before. And now we give you guys the scene that you want there in the pit. Exactly. So, Zavix or Zeef and Narset.
As the magnified screen shows Warren begin to pull away into the front, Zeef shoots his glass up into the air, spilling it everywhere, saying, "That's Misa partner up there! Misa know that guy! That's Misa partner!" Super just like thrilled.
Our wheels everywhere.
Just like premature celebration all over the room. Just as soon as he gets an inch ahead.
Excellent. Zavix?
I'm going to move over towards the side, get a better view for now, and be over by Kolvar and Vork.
Okay, excellent.
Like, you almost sound angry about it, Katarn. I know that fucking guy!
You trying to move close enough to, like, eavesdrop on what they've got going on? Or just...
No, just a better view of the race right now.
Okay, you're just moving a little... Okay, cool. But you're moving a little bit closer. Excellent. Okay, we view the next leg of the race from the hollow screen, staying in the point of view of Zavix. He moves. He knows what's going on. He viewed this next phase of the race up close, personally, from the command tower of the factory just yesterday. And on the hollow screens, you see as the racers finish making the climb that took Narset several days in just a breath's worth of time. They crest the volcano and begin weaving and circling in and out of the collector pylon of the factory above, attempting to hit the race ring in the center several times each before proceeding out to the next segment of the race. Warham, you're in the lead. Don't forget, you get a boost for being in the lead because you are the fastest racer. The difficulty for the factory acrobatics are 3 setbacks, and you don't get any handling boost as the avionics of your ship are affected by the force fields of the collector pylon. So any boosts that you got from your handling are taken away.
Hey, also, how do we boost Worm if we needed to?
If you guys had any leadership skills like There are certain talents in trees where you can make a check on a guy ahead of time.
I mean, they could maybe do
some crowd pressure type stuff.
Yeah, get the crowd up or something, and
yeah, if you want to make a check, to get some crowd swell going, we can try that before they make those rolls. Absolutely.
I was gonna say my sense danger skill. I feel like all of my skills to buff someone, I have to be like next to them.
So while you're watching, I'm gonna say anything that you can push out to long range, you'll be able to affect.
Okay.
While
for
you've
sense
got
danger,
a view.
Sense danger once per session, remove 2 difficulty from any one check. So can I use that? Can I send that to Warham if he needs it somehow?
I will allow you to use a destiny point to allow one of your allies to use that advantage for that talent of yours instead. Sure.
Excellent.
Sure.
You want to do that for this?
I want to hold on to that then, maybe, just in case, because it's still pretty early in the race.
Sorry, I'll be right back.
I think that's a good one to hold on to.
You've got to stop.
Okay. So you like that, but not right now?
Just maybe in the second half of the race.
Right. You're still going at speed 5, so your difficulty are still 2 reds and 3 purples. You do not get a free downgrade from your advantages last time, so it is 2 reds and 3 purples. There are 3 setback from having to perform these acrobatics, and you're not getting your handling boost because of the hell plate on your avionic.
Yeah. All right, but I still get the 2 from shortcut, the boost from last time, and the boost from being in the lead.
Yes, you do. You still get plenty of boosts. Absolutely. I just wanted to lay out my side of the equation
again. Setback that I can't remove.
All right.
You
succeed. The Z95 flies up over the lip and absolutely nails, flashing gold and silver, looping multiple times around the support pylon. Warham inside the cockpit, deftly handling the stick, hitting the ring suspended on its repulsor coil in the center above the caldera that Narset saw like a personal view of from down below just the other day several times before flashing out over the caldera again. Lubba Tyrell is just behind him.
And then with the 4 advantage, I'm going to do the downgrade on the next one and the 2 base value, and I'm also going to remove 1 strain.
Sure. All right. Let me see if Lubba has any boosts from last round. And no, he has 2 setbacks from last round on top of the 2 he couldn't remove. All right, so let me see how Lubba Tyrell does. Extremely well for Lubba Tyrell, although he has a lot of threat. So Lubba Tyrell also deftly nailed the ring. However, with 4 threat...
Yes, bitch!
He scrapes the collecting pylon once on his way past on 1 loop, and then again he approaches the same pylon the second time, and a bolt of lightning lances out, rattling across his ship. He's going to get 2 setbacks from his 4 threat and lose 2 place value. Unless you wanted to do the 3 and the 1 instead, Dan.
No, that's fine.
All right, but I just was on a roll, and I wanted to narrate it while I was rolling. All right, so he's going to get 2 setbacks for next round. Out of that, he loses 2 place value, meaning he only gets 2 points for this round. Warham, you got +3 place value from your advantage?
Plus
2 place value from your advantage, so you make 7 points. And I'll go over what all the point totals are at the end of the first lap which will be after the next leg here. To let everybody know how it's going. Tyrell speeds up again as he comes out of the acrobatic into the downhill segment. Halloran, still moving quite slowly, his craft not accelerating as he would like it to, is distinctly behind enough now that the hollow screen is splitting to show Lubba Tyrell chasing Worm separate from Griff Halloran, who is just now entering the acrobatics. 2 reds. He can remove 2 of the setbacks. He has a boost from last time, and he doesn't get any other boosts. But he succeeds, with a despair, as he suffers another critical, colliding quite solidly and scraping against one of the collector pylons.
Oh, didn't you have something for somebody in despair?
Oh, I do. You're right. Hold on. I don't think it made it into. It was for second. It was for lap 2.
Yeah.
If they did damage this round, which they have by hitting the collectors, it's going to make things more difficult in the next round for all of you, because damage has been done to it. So I do have a thing, but it doesn't come into play yet. But he takes another ship crit. His engine is damaged. His maximum speed reduced by 1 point. Oh, you're right. I need to get a book real quick to. No, I have the list right here.
Damn,
ship
Griff.
crit. Shield overload. Die? It's actually. It's fine. It was worse. The thing he had before is worse. So he takes 2 system strain, but otherwise has no other damage to the ship. Otherwise, his maximum speed was going to be reduced, which honestly doesn't do much, considering he hasn't been able to speed up at all. But he did succeed this time, and he's able to finally accelerate his ship slightly to speed 3 coming out. But he has a setback.
Clearly, he's a shitty racer who's only popular for what he represents.
For being
right. He's got a setback. He loses a point value from it as well. So he only makes 2 points this round as well. All right. But now all 3 of the racers are out of the acrobatics and are now back in plain eyesight of the viewers, having come back around the island. They are coming down what would be the final straightaway, but is in this case the transition into the second lap, racing down just above the gondola track that is following the gas pipes from the factory down towards the gasworks. There is a race ring set up above the gasworks the racers will hit before racing out across the bay to begin their second lap. The Worm is just ahead of Lubba Tyrell as he roars down the mountainside.
Hell yeah.
Worm, you're going speed 5, so the difficulty is still going to be 2 reds and 3 purples. The modifier for the descent is 1 setback, as you have to pull up at tremendous speed as you approach the gasworks and level out to go across the bay.
Okay.
So 1 setback.
I have 1 downgrade from last
time. You have a downgrade? Okay, so it will be 1 red and 4 purples with no setbacks because you moved them all. And you get to add 3 boosts from your handling.
I don't have my
balance.
engine boost anymore, but I do have my handling back.
You do have your handling, and you still have your shortcut.
Oh. Yep.
So you can
and being in the lead too.
Add 3 boosts and a 4th from being in the lead. Yes, that is correct. So 4 boosts. And with great success and another 5 advantage, you get another +3. Or another +4 place value, or +3 place value on the round, as well as another downgrade and another boost to pack away for next round, as Worm races ahead of the pack, pulling up deftly. The smoke pouring out of the gasworks, coiling in his wake as he roars through the race ring and out across the bay. Leva Tyrell is just behind with 2 reds and 2 purples. He is able to remove the setback die. He gets 1 hand loose. And also nails the ring perfectly, getting another +3 place value as well. He is going to accelerate once more so that his speed now matches Worm's and will get the full 8 points for the round. Griff Halloran definitely taking up last place at this the end of the first lap. Now comes following 2 reds and a purple, 3 yellows. He can remove the setback, and his boosts are 2 from his handling. Alright, and Halloran,
despair.
Yeah, he is swift and appears to be following the same course set by Tyrell and Warren, following the same arc. However, not hitting the same speeds as theirs. He again scrapes his craft, this time against the inside of the ring. The 3rd such jostle his ship has taken now during the first leg.
Exploded this train.
Crit
Seriously.
number +30 or +20 for the 2 he's already taken. It's another shield thing, and he's flying a TIE variant with no shields. So as long as he keeps taking his crits to the shields, he'll be fine. He does suffer 2 more points of system strain, but he himself is going to take 1 of those strain, and the ship only has to take 1 of them because he can lean into those hits. The ships flash down through the ring over the gasworks and begin their loop to come around before approaching the ring across the bay again. And the place values for the first lap are posted. Just a second, that's minus place value. Okay, -3, so he only gets 1 this round. Worm has 29 points. Leva Tyrell has 21 points. Griff Halloran coming in 3rd place. 11. As far as all that comes out. And as the ships begin their relatively slow arc before coming around and heading into lap 2, we push back in to the casino again to see if any of you guys have any moves that you want to make socially. Stomper at this point, Zeef, now has 2 or 3 empty glasses on top of him. He shakes them off so that they clatter back onto the bar.
You took away what I was going to say, man.
Bumps against your
first
before
lap
looking
there.
up at you and goes, he gonks at you. Gonk, 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 gonk. Like, what do you need me down for? I'm not just a table.
So, Stomper kind of gonks up at Zeef to indicate that he's growing bored with this and doesn't like being a coaster anymore. So Zeef picks his drink back up, without really taking his eyes off the race, just absentmindedly takes his drink back and allows Stomper to sort of waddle down the hallway and, begin to explore the facility more because he's not really necessarily watching the race. So he's just waddling around, kind of checking out the crowd.
All right, as Stomper...
There are a lot of stormtroopers.
Right, Stomper gonks his way around. Most of these living beings down here are all busy with whatever it is that's distracting you, Zeef. He can't get anyone's attention. He approaches a few of the serving droids, hoping that one of them might be N4, but none of them are N4. So he begins exploring down some of the other side passages. And finally, he comes across some beings that aren't partaking with the rest of the festivities. It's the same dejected Imperials from earlier. They've abandoned their table in the pit and are now huddled together in a side corridor. Stomper stops there for a moment, just wondering what they might be up to. He takes a recording so that maybe you can clarify later on. I found these guys. I'm not sure what they're up to. Maybe Zeef knows a lot of things about a lot of things. And once it seems like these guys have moved on to do something else, he gonks his way back to you there, Paul.
Excellent.
Master Silver Star.
What's the points again?
The points. Warham is currently got 29 points. Lubba Tyrell has 21, and Griff Halloran only has 11 points.
Warham by a
coming
length.
out of the first lap.
Can I check on what the Ivanko is doing?
She is still down talking to the Imperial officers that she had stopped from placing bets earlier. She's gesturing up towards the race results, sort of smugly, indicating that, yes, it's a good thing that they listened to her and didn't place those bets, because obviously it's a race between the Hutt Cartel and the Expat Club for first place, and not a race between Griff Halloran and anyone for second place. And she sort of shoots you a look up there where you're up with Vork, and she's like, I see. We're down here, you're up there. And then turns back to that group of officers.
As it should be, Imperial scum.
Of them all, it's only the mustachioed Baron Sam Telek, who still appears to be raptly watching the race on the screens, while the rest of them are all just sort of now commingling together, and they're checked out because they don't even have a fight. The stormtroopers down in the pit are still they're still enjoying it. This is what they came here for, was to watch the damn race, and now they've been sitting around for
all right, and I'll just continue to watch the race then.
Okay, you're not going to try to get any closer, eavesdrop on Vork or them, anything like that? You're just going to do your thing?
I mean, I'm next to them. Are they speaking loud enough for me to hear?
They're just sort of watching it and talking quietly, you know what I mean? But if you wanted to really pry in, you'd need to get a lot closer, sort of.
Okay.
But he's still got Kolvar over there with him, and they're still
I'll walk over towards him. I set up this race. I should be able to go there.
Okay. The bounty hunters who do recognize you from going to the palace twice already nod to you as you approach. Go ahead and make a hard charm check.
Okay.
Just to see how Vork's disposition is as you come over. Ordinarily Spider would come over and tell him someone wants to talk to you. He's back here now. He is a major domo to tell him people want to speak with him. You don't
make
just
a power
approach
move. Just go over, put your arm around his shoulder, be like, "Hey, buddy,
Vork."
Go sit down on his tail.
How you doing?
Yellow, green, blue. Yellow, green, blue. Okay.
It's only 3 purples. He's in a pretty good mood. That's not what the difficulty is, to try to charm him to get something out of him.
Success.
Yeah, absolutely. As you come over and, nod, he nods back at you and puts a hand on Kolvar and says, "This new man of yours has done a good job, Kolvar. Quite a race." And he allows you to join them to watch the second lap. Narset, you got anything before we return to these to the race ships.
Sort of very quizzically, Narset looks back over to Zeef. Where's Spider right now?
Spider is
He's
sort of up
upstairs.
on. Spider is up on the top of the. He was up with Zavix, so he's up there, like right by Zavix. If you looked up and saw Zavix, you see that there is a about 5.5 foot tall, white furred, 6-armed tarantula person in a blue sort of set of nice robes with nice trimming.
Narset looks back over to Zeef and sort of asks, again, I know I've been gone for a while. Why is Zavix talking to a giant spider with a monocle?
Zeef,
who is this guy?
Zeef tilts his head up in the direction of Spider and says, he's working for Vork. Vork runs all of this. He gestures around, indicating the planet, not necessarily the expat club. But
and Vork is there too, so you can see the hut. You know.
Yeah, he points. Zeef points up past Spider to the outline of the hut that you can see silhouetted in the window over there, standing next to Zavix, and says, "That's Vork. He's the big boss." Then he lowers his voice, leans forward a little, and says to Narset, "Misa got some unfinished business with Spider for after the race."
We're going to close on that, and we'll be back